Welcome to History in 6, a place where we sample history in 6-minute increments. I'm your host, T. Melendel. Today we're going to discuss the Boston Tea Party. Time is short, let's jump into it. In the previous episode, we saw how tea shipments to New York, Philadelphia, and Charleston were successfully returned to England. Boston, however, presented a different challenge. Governor Hutchinson, determined to uphold British authority, refused to back down. His resolve was strengthened by the fact that two of the tea consignees were his own sons, a clear example of self-interest at play in this fateful event. When the first of the tea ships, the Dartmouth, arrived in Boston Harbor in late November of '73, Samuel Adams, a leading Whig, called for a mass meeting. Due to overwhelming turnout, the meeting was moved to a larger venue. There, Adams introduced a resolution urging the ship's captains return to England without paying the import duty. To prevent the tea from being unloaded, a committee of 25 men was formed to watch the ship. Governor Hutchinson, defying the colonists' demands, refused to allow the Dartmouth to depart without paying the required duties. As tensions escalated, two additional tea ships, the Eleanor and Beaver, arrived in Boston Harbor on December 16th. A massive crowd, estimated at over 7,000, gathered at the Old South Meeting House to address the crisis. That's nearly half the population of Boston at that time. After learning of Hutchinson's unwavering stance, a sense of despair permeated the assembly. A voice from the crowd cryptically questioned how the tea would mingle with salt water. Samuel Adams solemnly announced to the group, "This meeting can do nothing further to save the country." As Adams struggled to regain control of the tumultuous meeting, the crowd began to disperse from the Old South Meeting House. Their intentions were clear. That evening, a group of between 30 and 130 men, some dressed as Mohawk warriors, boarded the three tea ships. The Mohawk disguise was a symbolic act of defiance against British authority. Masking their identities was crucial due to the illegal nature of the protest, but by adopting the guise of Native Americans, they implicitly rejected their status as British subjects and asserted a distinct American identity. Over the course of 3 hours, these men systematically dumped the entire cargo of tea into the Boston Harbor. The destruction of approximately 92,000 pounds of tea, valued at around 10,000 pounds, which would be about 1.7 million in today's currency. While Samuel Adams' direct involvement in the planning of the Boston Tea Party remains uncertain, he swiftly took steps, though, to publicize and defend the action. He argued the event was not a lawless act of vandalism, but a principled protest, a desperate measure to safeguard colonial rights. Adams contended that it represented the only recourse left to the people in face of tyrannical British policies. John Adams, Samuel's second cousin, memorialized the Boston Tea Party in his diary on December 17th. "This is the most magnificent movement of all. There is a dignity, a majesty, a sublimity in this last effort of the patriots that I greatly admire. The people should never rise without doing something to be remembered, something notable and striking. This destruction of the tea is so bold, so daring, so firm, intrepid, and flexible. It must have so important consequences, and so lasting that I can't but consider it an epoch in history." How true those words proved to be. In England, the reaction was quite the opposite. The Boston Tea Party outraged even those in Britain sympathetic to the colonies. This act of defiance unified British political factions against the colonies. Prime Minister Lord North declared, "Whatever may be the consequences, we must risk something. If we do not, all is over." Believing that such defiance could not be tolerated, the British responded with a series of punitive measures known as the Intolerable Acts. These were a series of laws passed by the British Parliament in 1774 to punish Massachusetts for the Boston Tea Party. These acts were designed to assert British authority over the colonies and reshape colonial governance. The four main acts were the Boston Port Act, This closed the port of Boston until the destroyed tea was paid for, crippling the city's economy. There was the Massachusetts Government Act, which reduced the power of the Massachusetts legislature and placed the colony under direct British control. There was the Administration of Justice Act, which allowed British officials accused of crimes to be tried in England rather than locally in Massachusetts. And lastly, there was the Quartering Act, which expanded the Quartering Act of 1765, allowing British troops to be housed in private homes and other buildings. While the first three acts directly targeted Massachusetts, colonists throughout the colonies feared that Parliament could similarly alter their governments without their consent. These measures were widely viewed as violations of constitutional, natural, and colonial charter rights, fostering a growing sense of unity among the colonies as their conflict with Britain reached a boiling point. If you've enjoyed this episode, tell a friend about us. Hit the like button. If you haven't already, subscribe to get future content. And as always, have a great day if you want to.